All right, I have to admit something. I actually didn't watch the Olympics on TV at all, but somehow I still knew everything that was happening over there. Knew the highlights, the storylines, and even the random things like the Olympic Village running out of condoms. And it was all through social media. And it made me realize something, that social media isn't just where we talk about culture anymore, it's where the cultural moment actually happens. So, the question for today's episode of House of Content is, when did social media quietly become the new TV? And Christine, be honest with me. Do you still turn on the TV to watch the full thing, or are you mostly just following the moments on social?
That is such a good question. I think for me it is yes, and I can absolutely relate to what you were saying around, especially the Olympics. I got hyper obsessed with figure skating this year, especially
Yes.
with the whole lore around Ilya Malinin, the quad god, and his performance at the Olympics. I think that was one of the few things actually that I tried watching on TV live as he was competing, and same thing for Alyssa Liu. But outside of that, I was just looking for their performances and routines actually on social and looking at the commentary. I know nothing about figure skating, but somehow I found myself like going into these very technical deep dives on their jumping techniques. And then like I found myself 45 minutes later, like, wait, why am I here?
Yeah, so like I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. Like, and I think like we don't really need to even watch the full thing
Hmm.
anymore to be part of the moment. Like, I think we've kind of entered what we call, or I'd like to call, this like highlight era of entertainment. Like,
Or clip era.
or a clip era, yeah, because for decades culture kind of happened through these full broadcasts. Like, you had to be watching TV at a specific time, you had to watch the show and the game to be in the loop, and like the award ceremony. But now the cultural experience, it often happens through the moment that just travels online and you share with your friends. Uh, and I think what's happening psychologically is really interesting, because people don't even necessarily feel like they missed the event, because the highlight is kind of like the cultural currency.
It's becoming the epicenter of
Yes,
that narrative. Like that is the almost the side reporting is now the main thing, which is a funny flip in culture.
exactly. And it's kind of like the moment that gets shared now is like almost like the main event, and like the narrative that gets
Hmm.
shared, like
Hmm.
that becomes the thing. So social media has basically turned entertainment into this like highlight driven culture,
Hmm.
where you don't need to be watching hours of hours to like understand what's happening. You just need the 30-second moment that everyone is talking about. So we're kind of shifting from this broadcast culture to a moment culture. And then the moment is usually the clip, like you said,
Yes,
and not the full program.
and the funniest thing is that those clips then almost become the main things that get reported on. So there might be something happening at the Olympics that then gets pulled onto social, and from social back into broadcasting, because then it'll be at all of the the morning shows and news shows are going to report on that clip versus reporting on the main moment. So it's like it's a really funny loop. And I think that there's this really interesting piece of research that I recently read from this cultural insights company called Winnin. They did this whole report on how people are consuming sports right now and sports culture and how social media is converging. What people are doing now is they're not really passively viewing sports anymore, but rather they're participating through creating their own clips or edits or remixes. There are even creators who are now using AI to create alternative match endings. So for like
Oh,
football, like, oh, what
wow.
if this match went this way? Or even like matches that didn't happen yet. Or they're inserting players into different sports. Like I saw this crazy AI video with I think it was Ronaldo and Messi playing basketball. And so it's like it's all becoming, and I think it's all part of this clip culture, but I just found it very, very fascinating.
That is hilarious. I am not that on side of TikTok or Instagram, so I haven't seen those. But yeah, it's AI is definitely going to be amplifying that even more, because now people can literally create their own spin on things. But like, do you think that the full broadcasts are still going to be holding the same cultural power, like moving forward, since everyone's just so focused on seeing the clips?
I think they hold power in by means of origination, right? Because you do need the source material. And I think what's going to happen is that these big entertainment and broadcast houses, they're going to start engineering content around clippability and virality. Because I think part of it is, yes, there are a lot of people who are now watching the clips, but also for niches and shows and entertainment that people feel really passionate about, it becomes a yes and thing and not an either or. So, for example, a big part of, again, like referencing back to soccer, a big part of the experience of viewing a match, at least like I have an absolute soccer fanatic here at home, and so like by way of observing his fandom, I can see that the consumption comes from, you're watching the clips and analysis and different, even, you know, football reporters and creators reporting and takes and analysis. You're watching them on social, you're reading the articles on some of the news sites or sports sites, and then you're also watching the game. So it becomes almost like this participatory 360 experience where, again, like I said already before, you're an active participant. And if I look at it from how I consume media, one of my favorite guilty pleasures is the 90 Day Fiancé franchise. I absolutely love it. But a big part of consuming that content is that I follow a couple creators. There's this one creator who, she is able to play any of the people on the series, and so she will watch all of the episodes and she will do the funniest and the most viral scenes by dressing up as each of the
Oh my
the cast
goodness.
members, and she's so good at imitating them. But viewing that, and sometimes I even see her scenes before I've watched the actual episode, so I'm comparing the parody to what
That's
happened after.
hilarious.
So I think it's, yeah, it's a different behavior.
Yeah, I need to see that because like that 90 Day Fiance is my guilty pleasure. I watch that with my mother-in-law whenever I'm visiting her, but I just won't watch it alone because I know like I won't be able to do anything else. So like I'm trying
Now,
to
every
stay away
episode is
from
like 2 hours long.
yeah, they're so long, especially with the ads that you have here in the States. But I feel like another massive shift also that is happening is how people are discovering entertainment now. Because discovery used to happen inside media platforms, right? Like you would discover music on the radio and TV shows on television, or podcasts through the charts. But now discovery almost always, at least for me, starts on social media. And we can see that with all the songs that are going viral on TikTok before they even hit the charts, or podcast audiences like seeing these 45-second clip. And I'm sure some of you guys that are listening to this might have probably discovered us that way on your For You page. And even like books that are going viral on Book Talk, and
Yep.
that's how I get most of my book recommendations and movie recommendations. And then after that, they become the New York Times bestsellers. So, and then there's actually a lot of really interesting data also behind this. Like YouTube, I think, has now become the most watched streaming platform on television screens
It is
in the
the new
United
TV.
States.
Absolutely.
Yes, so it is like the data is completely backing it up, and it's kind of wild because YouTube is essentially a creator driven like clip culture. Like obviously
Yes.
there's a lot of different medias there, but like it does tell something about how people want to be consuming content now. And it does raise this big question for entertainment companies. Like if something doesn't win on social media, like do you think that it can still become a hit?
That's a good question. I think they need to at least have some kind of element or layer of breaking through on social, not necessarily becoming a social show or having that be maybe the center of it all, but there needs to be elements that people are interested enough to discuss. It's maybe become a little bit of a barometer to measure, is this show good enough? But then also there is an art to making sure that you're seeding that into culture in a manner that people can respond to it and does become a moment. For example, the whole promotion and press tour of Wuthering Heights is a masterclass in that. I think I even
Indeed.
wrote about it for our
Okay,
Substack
please,
because
let's hear it.
so here's the thing. They were very good at inserting the whole world and experience of Wuthering Heights, whether it is the press tour and the whole chemistry between Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, Margot Robbie's outfits, the archival vintage that she was wearing, the references, having Charlie XCX do the album for the movie. I thought that was absolutely genius because she
Iconic.
is so embedded in the internet zeitgeist, and her then lending that form of art for a movie that fits in so seamlessly. And then even Emerald Fennell, the director, discussing all of her references for the movie. There are a lot of, you can see them, a lot of side by sides, like for example the Gone with the Wind, the iconic movie poster, like you can
Mm-hmm.
see those exact scenes there. And it almost became a, they were very good at not giving us just a run of the mill trailer and then running with it, but rather creating different, again, different clips of the movie that really made people want to see it. And for me, it became almost like an experience. I wrote about this. I I was planning my outfits to go see the movie. I wanted to wear something in the vibe of Wuthering Heights because it's like it has such a strong visual world that I wanted to participate. And then I made it into a whole, girls' night. We went to grab some martinis and fries and Caesar salad, which is the official New York girls' new Happy Meal. But that's not here nor there. And so I think just them being able to pull me in, not just want to see the movie, but actually participate. And I think
Mm,
there's been a lot
that's
of,
huge.
yeah, there's been a lot of critique also around like people, don't think that the movie was authentic to the original or stay true to the original story. But again, like even the director said, it's Wuthering Heights in quotation marks. They're
Mm.
literally on the poster,
Oh, it
right? So it's,
is.
yeah, it's her interpretation. But either way, I thought it was like that movie stayed with me, and I don't know whether it is just because the art itself or everything around it.
Okay, I am sold. I have been wondering whether I
No,
should
you
go
have to
see it or
see it.
not.
You will love it.
Yeah, I will book the tickets right after this, and I love the breakdown of that, and it kind of reminds me of how the Barbie movie did it a couple years ago,
Oh,
because
it's exactly that playbook.
right, they're using the same playbook, like because literally you could see also people like dressing up for it, and everyone was participating. I think it was like one of the first movies that was really able to do it in a very major way on social media, and I love to see that being kind of like replicated or done. It's done in a more like refreshing way, I would say. But like I'm excited to watch the movie and just experience it for myself, and maybe I'll
Mm-hmm.
start getting some of the stuff also on my For You page after that.
Oh, it's such a joy to actually consume all of the kind of making of content and just understanding everything from costuming. And I think that's and the last point that I will say to how that was built out were the brand partnerships as well,
Mm,
because they partnered
that's
with
major.
companies like Bloomingdale's and their in-house brand Aqua for a limited edition like dress collection around it. I think H&M did some clothing around it. I think Hanky Panky did it, or one of the lingerie brands, which I think is very very fitting. But again, like being able to sort of pull through. Oh, and Tokyo Milk,
Mm.
the perfume company, made a Wuthering Heights perfume, and
Oh,
so I
that's so
think
cool.
there's, again, like there is value to, we've spoken about this a lot. This is not just for entertainment, but the idea of thinking campaigns and whatever you're launching from a 360 lens.
When we think about like the new success metrics, like and whether like I kind of like to think virality as kind of like the new success metric for entertainment, like not the main one, obviously, like it's not the final metric, like you will still need the streams or you will still need the ticket sales and ratings, but it's kind of like the gateway metric for success, right? Because virality, I would say, it kind of determines whether something is going to get attention in the first place. And then when you see that clip of Wuthering Heights, like then, obviously you're more interested and you will probably start seeing more. And then like you will probably start considering getting the tickets. And then, you go to the movies and, you start consuming more of the um, the art or whatever it is. So like I think social media has kind of become this like top of funnel for the entertainment industry, and like if something doesn't manage to create that moment that people can share or react to, it is so much harder to then be able to break through the noise. Like you kind of disappear in the void, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think a lot of critics are saying like, oh, like social media has ruined entertainment or ruined music and ruined the arts because everything needs to be content and it needs to perform well on social media. But if we take actually a step back, for better or for worse, that is the reality.
Yeah.
And that is, if we like peel back, it's not, oh, yes, it is the algorithms pushing certain content and maybe dictating some of the things that we might get to see. But participation and enthusiasm and excitement over a piece of entertainment, art, or music, that is participation. And that is how people are saying this is how we want to participate in art today,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
same way I said, I want to find like a dark gothic dress in my closet and like put on a dramatic necklace and go eat fries and watch Wuthering Heights. That is me saying, I saw something on social that I want to be a part of, because it all goes back to that phenomenon that even Winnin coined around active participation in culture. And so you can fight it, or you can think of it in a way of like, it's kind of sad that it's not enough that you have a really interesting story now. You have to market it in a way that people care. And so that's kind of been true for entertainment always, right? Like if we think about even the Spice Girls and the Spice Girls World Tour, and did you have those? Is this might be just like a fever dream or a hallucination, so I need you to, as a fellow millennial, to tell me like whether I just imagined this. But I think I had this like Spice Girls book where you had, those peel off stickers that you can stick and re-stick,
Oh my
right?
God.
That don't have like a glue.
I did not have that, but I would have died if I had one. You had that?
I had that, and
Oh my goodness.
I think I had that, and so I was literally, and there were, I think there were even like collectors cards for Spice Girls. They were the same way there are like for sports or Pokemon. So I
Yeah.
think they were like, yeah, there were things like, so we've always had a layer of participation as
Mm-hmm.
marketing in entertainment. This is just the latest iteration of it.
Yeah, that is so true. So like and now like I'm actually here for it, because now like entertainment is starting to be like really intentionally designed for social media with that
Mm-hmm.
shareability in mind. Like you want to create that moment, like, but there is also the side where you're trying to create that clip. Like if you look at like reality TV or award shows, like, or reality TV confrontations, they almost feel like they're structured to become viral TikTok moments. And of course, like they used to do that back in the day as well, like, on TV. But I feel like now that it's on social, that they have even a shorter amount of time to get people interested and hooked. Like it is kind of becoming more and more uh, extreme. Like I noticed myself being pulled into this reality TV drama on TikTok, like shows that I would never even open otherwise. But then I see it on TikTok, and then like I still never watched the full show.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like started watching
What
all
are
the
you invested
recaps.
in right now?
Well, now I've been watching Love Is Blind.
Yes, same.
Yeah. Like, but I've been watching it only through TikTok. I haven't watched anything
Oh,
else.
okay.
I did watch the reunion because my sibling is visiting me right now, and they've been watching it all. So I did watch the
Okay.
reunion. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I actually know all these couples, and I know all the
Yeah.
stuff that they've gone through, even though I never watched a single episode, which is kind of funny that that's
Yeah,
even
yeah.
possible.
No, no. So what happened to me is that I saw some of the recaps over like the big scandals or drama
Yeah.
around Love is Blind. So I already knew those things, and then I was like, okay, maybe I should start watching, but I'm kind of having it like it's my background TV if I'm cooking or
Yeah.
cleaning, or like if I'm going to do a little bit of cardio, I might like watch it on my phone. But the main drivers of the storyline points for me have come through TikTok, which is interesting. And I was just thinking about this, as you said, like the moments that are engineered for social. I mean, I watch all kinds of reality TV, but the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and one of them, Dorit, she famously has lived in Italy, so speaks Italian, and they're on a trip in Italy. But what she's doing in the clips is she's clearly like she's very dramatically yelling out Italian phrases and speaking to the staff. And the only thing I could think of, like, they're gonna clip that. That's a clip, that's a clip, that's a clip. But maybe that's also my marketer brain. I'm like, yeah, you should clip that.
Yeah. So the clip has kind of become this, like, it's kind of like a distribution engine in a way, like, because when you realize that the clip might be reaching millions more people than the original content or the original episode, like, it kind of makes sense that the creators and the producers would start thinking about that. And like, but I do think that it also kind of changes the storytelling, because the moments that usually go viral are super emotional. They're really funny and shocking, controversial, but you kind of need that today.
You do.
Like, you kind of need that, especially on social. Like, there's just so many like brilliant people and creators and brands like kind of competing for the same space. So in order for you to be able to like convince someone with a 30-second clip to watch a movie or watch a TV series, like you have, or even listen to a podcast, like we if anyone knows that, like you need to be able to give those hot takes and like know what those clippable moments are. Yeah, it's kind of wild.
It is. And then I think the one disservice that I think it might do to some media consumption is that if your peak moment or like the crux of the drama is already clipped and it's already online, all of the rest feels a little bit boring, right? Like, I find myself sometimes like skipping through, like, and it's not just TV, and this is maybe a little crazy. Have you ever had the moment where you've heard a song on TikTok and it's just that like 15 seconds, right?
I have, yes.
And then you're like waiting for those 16 seconds the whole time that you're listening to the song. And then like once that's over, you're like, oh, you know, it's like a dopamine hit. And then like they like, I want that all the time now, right?
Yeah, like it's the Kanye West song. Like, I don't listen to him at all for many reasons, but there is that one song that went viral during COVID, and I actually had COVID. Like, it was the worst COVID ever. Like, I had high fever for 10 days. Now? No, but after that, when I got better, it was the first day of me being actually like, I survived. I didn't die. Like, you know the song, like, and nothing hurts anymore. I feel kind of free. It's just, like, he uses a sample from another song, but but it's in his song, and I listen to that song only to listen to those 15 seconds that I know from TikTok and that I connect to my COVID experience. But
it is. I have that, like, going back again to Wuthering Heights. I now have, like, I've had this like earworm for 2 weeks. It's the Kate Bush song. Wuthering Heights, and that like and it like keeps like replaying in my head. I try to go to bed and I'm like, I'm in the English Morse perpetually, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
That's hilarious. So you were talking about how creators are now kind of playing the role of interpreting culture and like explaining or like putting their own spin on things. So like, which made me think of how in the past we really relied on media outlets to explain cultural moments, like magazines and entertainment reporters, recap shows. So now the creators are doing that work. So now if a big pop culture moment happens, like a celebrity scandal or even a reality TV fight or some kind of sports controversies, like, creators are the first ones to explain that because they're doing it so much faster than traditional media. And also there's no one that they're like, they are free to say whatever. They don't have
I mean, they're also not bound by like any journalistic standards. So
exactly.
That's
so
the
like,
other thing.
So they break down what happened, like they can add their context, share their opinions, and a lot of times they actually do their investigation, I feel like, a lot faster and even deeper than, like, I don't know, media outlets do.
Oh, a couple like social media girlies on social have like FBI, you have nothing on them.
Yeah.
Like, they can find out anything. There is like one corner of a pinky finger on one video and they can like trace it back to like who it is, where it was, why, and like who their entire family is.
Exactly. And it's so impressive. And I feel like sometimes the content that the creators make might even get more watch than the original content itself.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, even on TikTok, like you have people like, or accounts breaking down what happened to other TikTokers. So they're not just interpreting like
Yeah.
TV shows and cultures, but like,
Yeah.
and that's how I get my TikTok drama. I don't get it directly necessarily from the TikTokers.
Oh
That
no,
it's
I watched the
happening.
recaps.
Yeah, I watch the recaps from other people, which is, it's hilarious. So like culture isn't just being now experienced through the original content. Like we get it through these layers of commentary and edits.
It's a full remix.
Yeah, so like it kind of makes me think if like the creators have now become like new media layer around entertainment, if they're here to stay. Like, what do you think?
I think it's so funny because they are both the end entertainment, but then they are also the interpreters of culture and entertainment. So they're kind of like almost like sitting across like every layer, so they can either make sure that a moment becomes widely spread, or they can actually like generate it, which I think is interesting. What I think and I know you mentioned in some of the background research that you did for this episode, institutions like MTV that like really shaped
Yes.
our youth culture and the TV shows and the music. I do think there is maybe space for and maybe that is a creator founded entertainment company, maybe something along the lines to, Alex, what's her last name?
Cooper?
Unwell. Yeah, to Alex Cooper's Unwell network, right? Like, do we need to? I think there's still value to having not maybe centralized, but having companies built around culture versus like having this like completely fragmented media landscape. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually pretty saddened by the fact that MTV was shut down. It was
Me too.
December 31st after 44 years. Like,
Yeah.
it is wild because it did really like shape a lot of the culture, and yeah, like all my childhood and my youth.
It was home.
Yeah, it was
home.
home. So it's kind of wild that we don't have that anymore. And I do agree that like you kind of do need that bigger home that is able to have that budget also,
Yeah.
because it is a lot of work. Like creators are doing a fantastic work, but like can we really fully rely on creators doing it? Like
Exactly. And there's again like that going back to like journalistic standards and integrity
exactly.
and structure. And even just by way the fact of like if you have a big creator who and we've seen this like some of the big gossip creators or who are reporting on celebrity stories or even just gossip from the internet have gotten sued because they are not journalists, they're not checking their sources, they're not saying allegedly or in my opinion, but they're rather like they're portraying things as
Right.
truth. And so that also then kind of blurs the line of like because there is a mix of or a layer of news information and reporting even in entertainment, so then like that kind of like blurs the line. And then like one final point that I'll make is maybe an unpopular opinion, but bring back magazines, bring back fashion magazines, bring back the Vogue era of Devil Wears Prada. Like, I think there is, if there's one thing that Gen A and Gen Z might never experience, is the buying that new, like, thick stack Vogue in style magazines, going home, getting well, this might be a very Finnish experience, but getting a bag of candy. Getting a bag of candy and eating that candy while reading like a well put together editorial, and I say bring that back.
Please, like as long as I love seeing the DIY culture and creators, like people finding ways to do it themselves, like yeah, we still need to be able to have those high standards for entertainment. But I think we have come to the moment where we share our house rule, and I would love to share one that is if something doesn't win on social, it's not going to win anywhere else. Because now that social media is the main stage where cultural attention is decided, the smartest entertainment brands shouldn't be asking, how do we promote this on social? They should be asking, what is the moment that people will want to share? So there you have it. Every launch strategy should start with social and not as an afterthought, but as the primary stage where the cultural attention is won.
I could not agree more. And I also think there is one thing that I want to remind everybody of is there is an element of joy and whimsy and fun of engineering participation. like I already gave that example, like being able to be part of a moment and actively perform in it versus just consuming it and being sort of the recipient of whatever is happening. So I think it's actually a very fun turf for brands to play. And so like have a little whimsy and like make people care, make people feel something.
Yeah, invite them
Yes.
into the world that you're building. All right. I think we have come to the end of this episode and appreciate everyone for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this, remember to rate and leave us a comment, and we'll see you next time.